Wow, wonderful. Good afternoon, everyone. It's amazing to be here and to be able to go live on this very special day. And it's a very special day for me because it is the first of the Smash Your Goals webinars and the introduction of the Smash Your Goals program like we've never had it before, right? This is like a whole different ball game, and I'm so happy to be able to share it with every one of you today. All right. So welcome to this very first session. My name is Eritosin-Gregory. I am a coach, a consultant, and an author. And also, I'm a serial entrepreneur, done projects, done events, and I'm building new businesses every time, every opportunity I get, because I really believe that we are all multi potentialites. God has given all of us so many amazing gifts, and you should use it. I believe that everybody has multiple potentials. I believe that everybody is multi gifted, multifaceted, and you should explore all your potentials. Don't leave any out. Everything you can do, make sure you do it. So I want to thank all of you that are already joining the webinar. I can see people here. Arika is here, first person. Oh my goodness. So I will ask my team to please note her down for being the very first person. We're going to have some really good freebies for you. So I think she's one of the people I'll give my first 30 minutes free coaching to. And I hope that you like that, Arike. I hope that it will be a blessing to you. So I was saying, yes, I've said my name and what I do, and I've been running webinars and conferences and workshops and a lot of teaching, learning, facilitating opportunities since 2016. So it's about 10 years. And I had called them all kinds of things. I published my book Smash Your Goals in 2019, did the review in 2022. It has been a good thing. But over the last year, the Lord has taught me some things and has repositioned what I'm doing with Smash Your Goals differently. I used to call the Smash Your Goals conferences start strong in December and finish strong in July, but that has all eased out. Now we're going to just focus on having 3 webinars for Smash Your Goals every year. And after each webinar, there will be a 6 weeks accelerator leading on to the next webinar like that. It's going to be intensive, it's going to be explosive, it's going to be transformative. I can tell you, just writing and planning all the things I've been able to download and get ready has just been tremendous. It has changed my life, and I hope that today will change your life. So, yes, hi, Moby. I can see Moby's here. I don't know why I said but again, Moby is one of my people. So you have access to me anytime. You can get your 30 minutes free without um, without any hassle. All right. So I want to go right into it because I intend to be on time. I intend to stay on time. I do not want to miss out on any minutes, and I don't want anyone to miss out on any minutes. If you know me, you know I'm an on-time person. If it's going to start at 10, I will be there, right? So I will make sure that this webinar also sticks within the time. I want us to be done in 2 hours. The webinar has 3 sections, and after each section, we're going to take questions, and then we'll go to the next section and questions and the next section. And I want you to please feel free to post your questions in the chat because my team is watching and they're going to be able to copy your questions, and let me have them at the right time. So are we ready to go? Are you ready to smash these goals? Right? All right. So the theme of this webinar, because all 3 webinars have already been programmed, have already been locked down, and they are progressive. So I want to please ask you not to miss any webinars. And I ask my ladies, Emanuela or Itunu, please post the dates of all 3 webinars right now so that people can lock them down in their calendar. Okay. If you registered, you will also get the 3 dates as well after this webinar. All right. So the theme of this webinar is called From Vision to Clear Own Goals. I've had people, especially on social media, say that, oh, you don't need goals. You just need to have some plans. And I'm confused because how do you have plans without goals? What are goals? Goals are simply vehicles that carry you to your destination. Your destination being the vision that you have, the intention that you want, the hope that you carry, the pictures in your heart that you have. That's what vision is. So if you do not have goals, how do you get there? How do you set a plan without a goal? A goal is the end product of a plan. A goal is like saying you have milestones, but you don't know where they are going to end up in, right? Not having a goal, rather. So, what I want to do at this introduction part is to help us declutter our minds, declutter what we already know, so that we can have some internal alignment. Internal alignment is so critical because for you to be able to produce anything tangible, for you to be able to have success and have results and have the kind of outcomes that you dream about, you need to align your heart with your mind. You need to be clear, very clear. And that is what we call internal alignment. But to have internal alignment, you have to declutter your mind. You have to have you have to remove every mental clutter that you have. The second thing is the inspiration. We have to create inspiration. Inspiration helps you have clear vision. Inspiration comes from dreams. When you have dreams of the future you want, you have dreams of the life you want, the things you want to build. Some of us, like me, I have transitioned from one dream to the other over my life. In fact, where I am now, I never dreamt of it. I never desired to be here. Never, ever. But somehow God has led me to this place. And I believe that this is supernatural. And I am here. I am here building a new company that has nothing to do with coaching and consulting, but it still has a way of helping people because I'm very clear that my purpose here is to help people become better, right? And so everything that comes to me to do is there. And that's so when I'm inspired through a dream, through something that happens around me, then what the next thing for you to do is to get clear vision, clarity. Then the third thing is what is the desire? Your desire now should be after decluttering your mind, after getting clear vision, your desire should be owned, focused goals. So, what are my next steps? A lot of us have goals. We set next steps. We set what we want to do, but they are not the right ones. They are not the things you should do. Why? Because there is no core outcome in view. You haven't put a core outcome. This is the outcome. Outcome and results are different. Though. Outcome is what will happen after you hit the goals. So when you're clear on the outcome you want, then you walk back to be able to set the goals that will give you that outcome. Does this make sense? I hope it does. I want you to please any punchline that hits you, put in the chat. Anything that comes at you, put in the chat so that I can see that you're following. All right. So by the end of this session, I want you to be able to have a very clear personal vision statement. You have to be so clear on why you're here. You have to be so clear, having like 3 to 5 own goals for the rest of the year, which means that from now till March 2027, you are clear on the things that you do. And again, sometimes if you are like me, the things that you do evolve, but you have a core, you have a baseline of who you are and why you're here. So it's easy for you to be able to identify what is coming at you that is yours. Okay? I want you to be aware of what has been blocking you from evolving, from delivering, from becoming, what has been stopping you from going from 100 million naira or $1,000, £10,000, whatever the ceiling has been, to the next level, right? Because a lot of times those things belong to the mental clutter that I talked about before. And then readiness for execution and systems. That's where we are going to end. Because I believe that it's good to be excited about what you want to do, to have the goals, to have everything and be inspired. But if you do not put structure and systems to achieving what you desire, there will be no execution. You will dilly-dally, you will waste a lot of time. Are we together? Right? I want to see in the chat that we are together. Oh my goodness. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can see Arika is owning her sport. Yes, you are owning your sport. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So okay, so I'm going to be talking about some frameworks, right? There are going to be some frameworks that I'm going to be introducing, and these frameworks are the things that are going to guide and lead the Smash Your Goals webinars for as long as I'm allowed to do them, right? There are 3 main frameworks, and then there are other templates and other systems that I will teach you. The reason why I'm teaching this, especially free of charge, is because I need you to use them. I need you to adopt them. I need you to try them out. And when you have the results, you share with us feedback that you use. Not just use it for yourself, but use it for your companies, use it for your teams, use it for your projects, use it for whatever it is you're doing. All what the frameworks I'm teaching you are generic frameworks that you can then adapt and personalize them. What is the use of frameworks? Frameworks are like structures, like pillars that you put together that helps you stand strong. All right. So there are three I'm introducing. The first one is the START framework. I have used the START framework since 2001 till up to 2021, up to 2023, 24, when I had the last Start Strong, Finish Strong webinar. And it has always worked, always. So it's proven, all right? It is proven. Then the goal framework is going to be introduced, is the goal framework. And then we have the SMASH framework. The SMASH framework, I'm going to give a preview of it. And then you're going to have to get it somehow. And that somehow, I mean, is in the next webinar. So you're going to have to sign up for the next webinar to get it. Okay. I'm going to have to ask my team right now to please send me the link to the YouTube page, to the YouTube video now, if you're here, the link to it so that we can put it up, share it with everybody so that people can join us. If you're able to copy the link and share, please do that as well. Let's have more people join up. When they join up, they can send us their emails and then we can work with them. So Emanuela or Itunu, please send me the link to this YouTube video. It's already in our group chat. All right, so let's get into it. Section 1. Yep, we are making good time and I'm super excited. So bear with me. Bear with my excitement. Let me know how you feel so far. Let me know if you're pumped and ready to go. Let me know if you've already learned something so far. Thank you, Praise, for being here. I'm excited to see you as well. Yes, the webinars are here. The dates have been posted by Emanuela. Thank you so much, Emanuela. Let us go to section 1 of the webinar. So section 1, I call it align. There are 3 sections. The first section 1 is align, section 2 is clear, and section 3 is act. There are other parts to this acronym that will be taught in webinar 2 and webinar 3, so make sure you are there. So align, what does it mean to align? To align is to check your foundations and make sure that they are right. To identify who you are, that is identity, to know who you are, and then to have inner clarity. So we're going to be talking about foundations, we're going to be talking about identity, and we're going to be talking about inner clarity. Why are we doing this? What is the objective here? The objective is to eliminate any internal resistance that you have that has been sabotaging you, or that you can recognize that is sabotaging somebody else. Because again, some of you are already super talented, doing very well. You might not have that internal resistance, but you might know someone that has it based on what we learned today. And then we establish identity and alignment before we go into setting any kind of goal, right? Because the insight here is that goals fail not from lack of desire, because we have the right desire. Our desire is to succeed, isn't it? So that's not why goals fail. A lot of times, 99% of the time, goals fail because they lack alignment. The goals do not align with what you really want to have, with the outcomes that you believe will have. Because you see that other people are doing the similar things, then you think that it works that way. No, it doesn't work that way. So why do goals fail? There are 3 major reasons why goals may fail for you, for me, for anyone. The first one is borrowed goals. Borrowed goals means that they do not belong to you, but because you saw other people doing it, you thought that it was a wise idea to add it to the things that you're doing. No, there is no conviction there. And without conviction, you cannot achieve anything. All right? So borrowed goals come from comparison. Sometimes you see someone else achieve something, you decide that that's what you want as well. It's okay to admire achievements. It's okay to want what people have, but you have to decide how that affects you and how that works for you, because it might not be the same thing. Because if you didn't choose it, you won't be able to sustain it. Please take that down, note that down. If you didn't choose it, you won't sustain it. If you didn't choose the goals, you cannot sustain it. There will be no passion, there will be no drive, there will be no staying power. Why? The goals belong to somebody else, right? Because there is no alignment. There is no alignment with your heart, with your mind, with your own personal desire and who you truly are, right? That's why identity comes in. Number two, rushed goals. I told you I'm giving you three, so I'm giving you number one, borrowed goals. Number two, rushed goals. Rushed goals come from pressure. You just fall into pressure. Pressure comes from everywhere around you. Everybody has pressure. I have pressure to do webinars, to do this, to do that. You have pressure. Family, friends, environment, company, business, finance. Just living in the world gives you pressure. So sometimes goals are rushed. You feel pressure from age, expectations from people. Once people cross 40, they feel the world is collapsing because they've not achieved this and that, especially when they say, oh, this guy is 29 or this guy is 35 and he has his range and he has his property. Then you fall under pressure and you start rushing through your goals. That is comparison. It makes you move too quickly. And that means that you do not move with direction when you move too quickly. So pressure creates movement, but not direction. Take that down, note that down. On the rush goals, pressure creates movement, but no direction. So you might move. Oh, I'm supposed to be an author. This person has written a book. Let me quickly write my books. You write, and then the books are lack quality, the lack content, the lack substance. Why? No direction. Because again, you rush the goals. Number three, disconnected goals. Now, this is the biggest one. Disconnected goals means that you ignore identity. You ignore who you are. You ignore what you are meant to be doing with your talent and with your capacity in this season. So it has to do with identity and season. Disconnected goals are goals that sound good. They sound like something you should be doing, but they do not match who you are becoming. Again, I told them in my last conference, the Be Better conference, and if you're a woman here, you should definitely sign up for the Be Better conference. You will see the link sometime in the chat, right? Be Better conferences are just for women. Yeah, guys. Yeah, just for women. All right. So you are not becoming somebody new. You are becoming who you are. It's just that you don't know all of who you are. So every day you unravel, you evolve, you identify more of who you are. That's what happens to you, right? And as you are becoming, you have to be so aligned with the journey that you are on that you choose the right goals for that journey. You choose the right goals for the destination. So you can admire people. I have role models. I have very few people I call mentors. Very few. Can count them on one hand. But I have role models that I see across the world. Role models means that they are modeling something, they are living a kind of life, they're doing something that I admire. But I have to, even no matter how much I admire them and I love them and I want to be like them, I have to find my own pathway. It's called pathway discovery or discovery pathway, right? I have to find it to the same or similar destinations. When identity and goals don't match, identity always wins. Write that down. When identity and goals don't match, identity always wins. Why? You still become who you are becoming. And so that means that the goals will falter. They will fail because there is no alignment. You struggle through them. Pressure. Again, three reasons why your goals might not work. Borrowed goals, number one. Rushed goals, number two. Disconnected goals, number three. If you have been here, please let us know that you have in the chat. No shame here. This is a no shaming zone. All right. So goals don't fail because people are lazy. No, people are not really lazy. They fail because they are borrowed, they are rushed, or disconnected. That's why they fail. So check it out. What goals have you set for your life? What vision do you have for your life? What dreams do you have? Did somebody give you those dreams? Did somebody loan you those visions? Or do they align with who you are? All right? All right. Before we talk about doing more, let's talk about becoming clear. I think that alignment is critical because some of you might be wondering, what should we be talking about? Right? because I'm saying inner order before outer action. That's really what I'm saying. Inner order. Know what it is that you desire, that you want for yourself, not what somebody else wants. And know where you are going, who you are becoming, what you need to achieve. No matter how old you are, this applies. No matter if you're 60, this applies. I know you've heard all the stories from KFC founder to whoever that achieve things from 60, from 65. So this applies for you. And then, of course, you can apply for somebody you know. So goals most fail most often because people lack desire. Not because people like desire. People want to succeed. We all want to succeed. We want all want to have more. But because fear is unresolved sometimes. Am I going to win? Can I make it like this other person? Again, remember comparison. When you compare yourself with other people, there is fun. That's fear. That's fear. Identity is not clear. You're not sure of your pathway. You're not sure of the journey you're on. So you're afraid, right? Because the past, which past here means your background, your experiences, and your environment. P, that's why I call it your background, the experiences, your environment. That's your past. They are unconsciously driving the future. Your past unconsciously drives your future. It manipulates your decision making because of the fear, because of what you've experienced. It clouds your decision making. It filters your belief system, right? And that then affects what you believe. And that then makes your identity unclear. All right? So let me say that again. When fear is unresolved, when identity is unclear, the past is unconsciously driving your future. So resolve your fear, clarify your identity. Okay. So how do we align? Why do we align? Simply, I want to round this up. We align to create emotional permission to allow ourselves feel good about who we are and where we are going and the journey we are on. Once you are executing right, once you have figured it out and you are in alignment with your identity, you are happy. It gives you emotions that make you feel good. And you need to feel good about where you're going because that good feeling sustains you, right? That good feelings helps you keep going. All right. So alignment exists to create emotional permission, permission to be happy, to be excited, to want something. It also clears the internal resistance, that internal resistance where there's a struggle in between your past and your future, right? Clears that internal resistance where there is comparison between yourself and other people who you think maybe you're better than or whatever it is. I don't spend too much time here. Then it aligns your head, so you're thinking with your heart, your emotions. And when that happens, when the alignment between what you think and how you feel happens, then there is faith. That's when faith can be born. I'm not teaching or preaching, but that's faith. Faith now says, I can do this even though I haven't seen it. But it's the truth is not because you haven't seen it. The truth is that you have seen it in your heart. Because now that you believe, it becomes a clear picture. Clarity comes because that's in your identity. It's already buried in your DNA, what you will do and who you will become. You're the one catching up with it. Okay. So execution accelerates when alignment is secure. That's another line I'd like you to write down. Execution accelerates when alignment is secure. When I know what I'm doing, when I am clear that these are my goals, this is the destination I'm going to, when I'm clear on the outcomes that I want for my company, for my project, for my event, for my group, for myself, for the assignments, when I'm clear and I know these are the things that will happen, execution accelerates. I will want to do it. It bets drive, passion, and staying power, right? I hope that makes sense. I hope that this has helped, right? Because I want to jump right into the framework called START, right? Because all I have talked about, this framework is going to help us put it together. We're going to take this framework, you are going to learn the framework, and then for every project, every event, every assignment, every mandate you have, everything that comes before you, you are able to apply the START framework at the beginning of it. Okay, so I just want to check in with us. Um, Oh, thank you. Thank you for the response. I can see some responses here. Okay, thank you so much. I don't know if you've shared the link with me. Have you shared the link with me? I asked for the link to this video, this live stream right now. There is a link that I had already shared with you in the team. Emanuela, can you please share it again? I think it's the very first link I shared with you so that we can share it to people as a reminder so that they can join us. I'm going into the frameworks now. I don't want anyone to miss out on these frameworks. Okay. So how are we doing? Anybody wants to tell us anything about your alignment? Does this clarify anything for you? Are you like, oh yes, this makes sense? This makes sense. This is what I think happened about this situation, about this thing. Anybody, anybody like that? All right, I'm looking at the chat. Alignment clears internal resistance. Yes, it does. It does. It does. It does. You know what? Okay. I think I have seen it, so I will share it with. I don't want people to miss out on this. A lot of time, people like, oh, I didn't know when it started. Why didn't you send a reminder? Well, why didn't you check your email? But that's fine. Okay. Um, okay, so let's go to the START framework. START is START. Start. Really, the word start. Okay. Let's get to it right away. We're making good time, I believe. So let's go. All right. START framework. I'm very excited because START. I was allowed. If you know, you know. To put START into this thing because I've used it for so many years and I think it works. And I trust me, it works. S is C. To see, vision, imagination. What do you see for yourself, for other people about that thing? What's in your imagination? What are you able to build in your imagination? That is start. That's C. Excuse me. T is think. Because when you see things, you have to strategize, isn't it? You have to meditate on it. You have to think it through, right? So it's think is strategy awareness. You have to be aware of this thing that you are seeing. It has to consume you, right? Then A is align, internal positioning. How do I position myself, right, for these things? R is review, right? Review, clarity and awareness. T is translate. We're talking about vision and reality here, right? When we come to T. So let's look at C. C is vision. Why we need to see it. It needs to become emotionally familiar because until it is emotionally familiar, it might not be practical. What do I mean by emotionally familiar? It means that everything that you are, especially in your heart, not just your head, because your head is very objective and practical, but in your heart as well, which is your spirit man, you identify that this is your thing, right? Emotionally familiar means that when it happens, it's recognition. You have recognition. The recognition system picks it up that this is for me. Because some of us are going through life, you're in jobs, you're doing businesses, and you are struggling. There is no emotional recognition. It's not familiar. It's not supposed to be where you are. That's why you are struggling with that space or with that event or with that thing. You have entered the struggle. Why? Because that is the language of the heart. The language of the mind is thoughts, right? The language of the body and the heart is emotions. That's why we need to make sure that our mind and our emotions are aligned before we can do anything. All right. Before we can talk about doing more, before we can talk about becoming clear, we need to align the mind and the heart because clarity is not just strategy, it becomes responsibility. You owe it to yourself to be clear, right? When you write a vision, you are not just planning, you're not just committing to something. You cannot consistently pursue what you have not clearly defined. I hope that makes sense to you, right? Because vision becomes spiritual because before it becomes practical, right? Vision becomes spiritual. It takes over who you are. You become clear. This is where I'm headed. You become clear about what it costs to get there, right? And that's where translate comes in. So I won't jump, right? Clarity creates accountability. Because once you're clear on the vision and the goals, then you can have accountability, right? Most people, try to act differently without first seeing differently. It doesn't work. You try to become the CEO without first seeing yourself as the CEO. You try to build the company without first seeing the company. You need to see it in your mind and in your heart. You need to see it in your spirit and in your reality, right? So I'm going to take us through a visualization exercise now as we try to ensure that we can concretize, materialize in our minds and our hearts the vision that we see. It's so important that you do that, right? The vision that you see, the imagination. We're going to use our imagination to do this. So now what I'm going to ask you to do is close your eyes. Wherever you are, I just want you to close your eyes just for a few minutes. We're going to do this very quickly. Close your eyes and then imagine 12 months from now. Just imagine. See yourself living the life that you desire. See yourself doing the things that you have dreamt of, that has appeared to you in your dreams, that you have visions of, that you really truly want for yourself, not what somebody else wants, what you want. It can be that you're now flying first class. Can be that you own an island. It can be that you're running a Fortune 500 company. It might be that you own a school. It might be that whatever it is that you are experiencing or that you desire to experience, I want you to visualize it in your mind now. I want you to see yourself living that life now. See yourself living the life you desire right now. And then as you see it, begin to stay there. Just see it, begin to add pictures to it. Add good pictures, pictures of your desire to that thing that you see. Add processes. See yourself entering the car because you have received it as a reward for something, for a success that you want. See it, right? Then now I want you to notice what has changed. Notice how you think differently, how you act differently because you are in the vision. Because what's happening to you right now, and please keep your eyes closed still, what's happening to you right now is that you are in the destination that you desire. Don't imagine that you will be there. Imagine that you are there right now. I want you to feel it. Feel it in your finances, feel it in your relationship, feel it in your body, in your health, whatever it is, right? Why am I asking you to do that? Because if your body doesn't feel it, there will be some resistance, right? It's not just about your mind. What can your body take? What can your heart accept? What can your eyes see? Now, if you have seen it and you have been there, then you will have some lights, like there'll be some light shining. You see the possibilities of it. I want you to tell me in the chat if you're able to see. And in your notebook, and I hope you've downloaded your workbooks. Your workbooks are all in your emails and your 90-day planner if you registered. I want you to write down what you saw. All right. I want you to go back, write down what you saw, right? Because now we want to think about those things again. That thinking we are going to do is your reflection, is the reflection we're going to think about. So can you tell me in the chat if you saw anything? I'm not seeing chats, right? I want to see people, I want to see chats. All right, I want to see your chats. Okay. Um just a minute. I want to make sure that I want to make okay. Sorry, I'm just being conscious of the people that are not here yet. I hope we all get here very soon. Okay. Yeah? Okay. Thank you. For those of you sending me personal messages, I see them. I see them. Now let's quickly move to um I will ask Emanuela again. Send me the link to yes. Send it to Telegram for me. Thank you so much. That link so I can share it out to everyone again. Okay. Now what felt unfamiliar but powerful about what just happened to you? Right? What felt unfamiliar and powerful? I want you to write it down. What you saw is not what you're experiencing right now, is what you will experience. But you saw the future as if it was now. So that made it unfamiliar, right? So the question now is, how do we let that unfamiliar thing become familiar? Because the way faith works is that we have to become familiar with the destination for it to materialize, for it to become tangible, for you to navigate your way there. You don't need to chart all the courses. No, when it becomes familiar, the courses themselves will begin to align. The path will begin to align. All right. So, what version of you did you see? That's the question. What feels uncomfortable about that version? What version of you did you see, and what feels uncomfortable about that version? Right? I need you to answer that for me. I think it's in your workbook, or just answer it in your notepad, because you have to get comfortable with the future you see. If your heart is still shaking, if your body is just, acting up, it means that it's not yet familiar with that future. And so that means that it will limit what you can achieve because it's not yet familiar with it, right? So your experience lives in your body. That's why for some of us, if we hear a loud sound, we cringe or we hide or we run. For some other people, they freeze. See, all those things that happen in your mind, they say the frontal lobe and all those things, they are based on the experience that your body has registered. Does that make sense? The way you react to things, the way you become familiar to things is something that has triggered it. It's alignment with something that that you are familiar with. And when whatever is happening to you, whatever experience or whatever future is working towards you, when it comes and your body cannot align with it, it finds it unfamiliar, and that familiarity becomes limited, right? So growth always feels unfamiliar before it becomes normal. Have that in mind. Now we're talking about going to the destination, right? Your results are not random, they are trained. It means that you must consciously train your mind every day for the destination that you are going to. You must consciously train your body every day. How do you train your mind? Visualization exercise, read books, place yourself in that situation, in those places. And how do you grow identity? You must begin to believe that this is who you are. No matter how hard and how long it takes you, you must continue to say it to yourself until you believe it. When you believe it, you will then see it, and then when you see it, you will not have it. That's the process. That is Smash Your Goals 101. You believe it, you see it, and then you have it. That is Smash Your Goals 101. I hope that makes sense. All right. Manuela, you've not sent me the link to the YouTube. Send me the link on Telegram to the YouTube. Thank you. Not the questions. I'm not ready for questions yet. All right, so let's quickly move because of our time. So identity is who you believe you are, right? Let's take it back a notch. We have talked about what to make familiar. You make your results familiar because they are trained, right? They are not random. Your results are trained, they are not random. You only have results for the things that you have built. And how do you build things? Three things help you build things. Number one is your identity, and we've talked about it extensively, who you believe you are. Number two is your heritage. What trained your expectation? We've also talked about that. How your body is becomes familiar with what it has been trained to do. That's heritage. You have inherited belief systems, you have inherited thought patterns and thought processes. And number three is ideology, how you interpret possibilities. Ask yourself, how do I interpret possibilities? Has that actually affected my outcome? Right? Because your past is not your limit. Your past is just experience. Your past is not your limit, but it is your default. I'll say that again and you can write it down, please. Your past is not your limit, it is your default. It becomes your default, not your limit. Okay? Why is it? Because that is what is now familiar. A friend of mine told me that he lives in Lekki, and every time he would drive home, right? Drive home unconsciously, just drive home. And then he moved. And when he moved, one day he saw himself driving to his former house unconsciously. Why? It had become familiar. The past had become familiar. It had become his default. And he had to drive all the way back in traffic to his new house. Why? Because his mind had taken the subconscious route and gone there. That is really what happens to our outcomes and our results. That's really what also happens to goals. We have taken a default stance with our past. Our subconscious has overridden our consciousness. That means something. You have to make sure that your subconscious becomes familiar with also what is unfamiliar. So now, can you tell me what the things, and you can put it in the chat, I'll be happy to see just very quickly because again, we don't have a lot of time. Can you tell me what the things you think you, how do I say this? Can you tell me all the things that have become your default? The things in your past that have become your default, right? We need to think about those things. All the things that have become your default. All of them, all of them, all of them. They have become your default, right? What are those things from your past that have become default to you that are not allowing you see where you should be or see what you should have or what are those things, right? Somebody was telling me the other day that he just would not eat chicken. Why? Because growing up, they didn't really have chicken. They didn't have a lot of money. So he never really, ate chicken. So now it's just almost like default for him when he goes out to eat and he will say, oh, give me fish or give me beef or something. Why? Why? But that's default. That's because his past has become default for him. Okay? Uh-huh. Right. I hope that's I hope that's a simple enough example for all of us. So what past do you have that has procrastination? Yes, yes, that's one of it. But I wanted more. Anyway, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. Um, yeah, let's get this going. All right. So again, your past is not your limit, it is your default. And your body will always choose familiar failure. Listen to that. Your body will always choose familiar failure over unfamiliar success unless you deliberately retrain it. Your body will always choose familiar failure over unfamiliar success unless you deliberately retrain it. What does that mean? You will not take extra measures. You will not do extra things to get what you desire because you are already used to what it was. You will tell yourself it failed the last time. You come up with excuses. You stick to routines that are not giving you new results. Even when you've outgrown stages, you want to still do those things. Why? They are familiar. That's why some people are struggling with technology right now because it's unfamiliar. There are still people that are not using AI in this generation. It is unfamiliar. AI helps work faster, think faster, process, research, outcomes, outputs faster. But you're stuck in doing it by yourself traditionally. There are even companies that will say, don't use AI for your test results. Hello, that's progress. What's progress? What's the progress that you are sabotaging because of your past defaults, right? What is the transformation you're not allowing to happen because you are stuck subconsciously in the past? Transformation only begins when you make the unfamiliar familiar. All right, that's what this is about. So even when we get to the accelerator, what we are going to focus on is how to reprogram our minds as well as other things, but we'll start from there. Because after we reprogram, then the results can flow, the future can flow out of us. So now the question becomes, who are you becoming? Remember, I said it a while ago when we started this. You're not becoming somebody else. You're becoming who you already are. That's who you are. You are just identifying and working into it gradually, every day. You're getting to know yourself more. That's who you're becoming, yourself. But you must have clear vision, clear pictures, so that you know how you're working and gravitating to that person, right? So, what identity are you upgrading into? All of us are created to be amazing, fantastic, significant people. But the upgrading, you have to be clear on how you're upgrading into that picture and into that person. What patterns do you have to leave behind? What pattern have you identified that is sabotaging your progress? All of us live by patterns. Patterns are the way we do things. They are the way things happen to us. When you recognize the pattern, then you know how to stop it or you know how to amplify it. So you should identify your patterns because when identity is clear, discipline becomes easier. When identity is clear, discipline becomes easier. I'll say that one more time. When identity is clear, discipline becomes easier. What you need to do, you are able to do it better because you know where you're going. You know why you have to pay the cost for this. You know that, right? You review it. Remember the START acronym? The first one is you see, we have seen. The second one is to think. You think through the strategy, think through it. You're aware of who you're becoming, and so you can work on it. The third one is the activities, the awareness. And then we're talking about reviewing it, reviewing everything you have been through, everything that you have, so that you can have a greater outcome. And then the last one is you translate it into systems and structures, right? So now that we have aligned you to who you're becoming, or now that you know that you're becoming somebody that you already are, then we can build now. All right? We can build now. What you just experienced is powerful. You might need to go back and think through it, right? But without, what I've been saying is that without clarity, or clarity without structure, will only lead you to frustration, borrowed goals, rushed goals, all those things, right? Remember, no matter who you are, or who you think you are, emotions are critical. Emotions start the journey. How I feel, what I want, all those things are emotions. They are good though, but structure sustains it. Emotion starts this journey, but structure sustains it. So we're going to really spend some time when we get to that section of structure, right? So let's talk about transformation that requires you to become unfamiliar with the old version of yourself and requires you to be familiar with the new version of yourself. So you need to ask yourself these questions that will help with alignment. These are reflective questions I want you to write down and then answer them later. This is how you reflect on this alignment that we've been talking about from the beginning. Remember, this section is called align. Number one, what feels unfamiliar but necessary for the next 12 months? What feels unfamiliar but necessary for for the next 12 months? Let me give you an example. I entered the year, I think it was 2023. I entered, or 2024, and I realized that I needed relationships. Oh my God, it was hard for me. I'm an introvert. I don't make friends easily. If you come to me to be my friend, yeah, I'll jump at it. But for me to go out and it's so stressful, it's unfamiliar, right? But I knew I needed that for where I needed to go to, because the next level for me had become quite clear. So I needed to restore some relationships. That's how it feels for you. Some of you need to go on a different diet program, because if you go on that different diet program, your health will be fixed. But those things are unfamiliar to you. That's why you're resisting it. Okay? Number two, what familiar pattern keeps repeating itself? I was talking to someone the other day, he always loses money. Every time he borrows money to invest in something, it always fails. We checked back the number of years it has happened. That is a familiar pattern that he did not recognize, that he needed to do something. What is wrong with me is the question. Because that familiar pattern kept repeating. So my question to you is, what familiar pattern keeps repeating? You keep adding weight. You keep losing the contract. You keep doing, what is it? But also you need to think about the positive things. What are the things that you do all the time that make you excited? Every time I start my day with a very interesting meeting or somebody that I find very interesting as my first meeting of the day, the rest of my day will be exciting for me. Will be interesting because it gives me energy. So I know that pattern works for me. I've identified it, that I want to keep repeating. All right. Number three, what identity am I upgrading into? What identity am I upgrading into? On the flip side, you can ask yourself, who am I becoming? Because again, you are just becoming yourself. But at this stage in life, what is the next phase of yourself that you need to unravel, that you need to know? Okay. So those are the 4 questions I'm going to give you, and you can just write one insight in the question and one emotion. When you see, the insight is what feels unfamiliar but necessary for 2026. When you answer that, that's the insight. Then what emotion did you feel when you answer that question? I want you to always be able to identify the emotion that brings out of you when you answer that question, because that also guides you to understand why you feel the way you feel. And it might give you many more answers than I can even answer here. All right, let's go quickly. See, our time is fast spent, right? So again, let's summary. Transformation begins when the unfamiliar becomes familiar. Transformation begins when the unfamiliar becomes familiar. Identity drives behavior, not motivation. Identity drives behavior, not motivation. All right, you can be motivated and inspired by other people and external things and all of that. But is it who you really are? Is it where you're going? Is it where you need to be going? Is it what you need to be doing? Everything is hinges again on your identity and your alignment with who you are. So now that we have aligned you with who you're becoming, we need to define what you will build. All right. So we're moving to section 2, which is clear. All right. So I'm going to take a pause here, take a sip of water, and then I'm going to take questions. Very quickly, questions. I know we have questions that have been sent in, so please can you post the questions so I can read them from the chat, or I'll just quickly check my phone. Any question, any question. Can I have the questions, please? How are we going so far? If you're here with me, can you just say something? How you feeling? How it's going? You know, in the chat, please. Can you do that? Let me see. Questions. Um, okay, I think a question was sent. Let me see. How do I align my vision with my goals? What makes a goal truly measurable? How do I stay motivated daily? What if I fall off track? Okay, very interesting questions. How do I align my vision with my goals? Um, how do we do that? Okay, yeah. Please send the questions here. That's what we agreed, because I need to be able to read it quickly. Okay, how do you align your vision with your goals? Let's take that quickly. The starting point is the dream, right? The dream can be many pictures, different feelings, all kinds of things. Dreams are just dreams, right? But then when you think through the dream, when you begin to put strategy into the dream, and you get some awareness and alignment with the dream, then we can write a vision statement. And that's what we're going to in this next section. I'm going to talk to you about writing a vision statement, right? When we do that, then that's for the vision statement. Then you now look at this vision. This is the vision then becomes the destination that you're where you want to go. And you ask yourself, where am I now? Where is the vision? The question is, what do I need to do in between where I am now and where the vision is to achieve the vision? What are the necessary steps? What are the milestones I need to hit for me to get there? So I hope that makes sense. That's how you turn your vision into goals, right? You break it down into small wins, small pieces, and just focus on achieving those small wins and those small pieces. All right? Good. Thank you. There's a question here. It says, my question on redefining your heritage or default with the new picture you see. Okay, I don't know how that is. What feels unfamiliar next to next one? Okay. The question on redefine your heritage or default with the new pictures you see. Okay, how do you do that? You have to go through the process yourself. You have to, first of all, awareness, acknowledgement. These are the issues I have. That's why I talked about your patterns that keep reoccurring and keep happening, right? These are the issues I have. These are the questions I have. And then you have to adamantly refuse to keep doing them. If there are things that you're doing, if there are patterns that keep reoccurring, you have to take a step back and take some time to analyze it. Why do these patterns keep happening to me? What am I doing? How am I contributing to the patterns? How am I contributing to the experiences or the results I have? What am I doing or what am I not doing? The truth is that for these things to change, you have to ask yourself questions, right? Especially for people with background issues, experience issues. You might need to change your environment. You need to move from that place. You might need to open your mind to the possibilities that there are better environments, that there are things that you need to do. I've answered that question of how I align my vision with my goals. right? Yes, so your heritage is important because you learn from it, but you don't need to adopt it all. You don't need to take on everything. Just take on the things that you learn from and move on. Okay. Sometimes we don't get answers after asking ourselves questions. Then you need help. You need a coach, you need a counselor, or you need a therapist. I would say go with a coach first because a coach will ask you the relevant questions that will help you think. If you go with a proper coach that knows what they are doing, they will ask you the right questions so that you can think, and it helps you do visualization exercises so that you can reimagine all those things that maybe you have gone through, all the experiences that you have had, and then we can come up with next steps for you. That's the work of a coach. A coach then comes up with next steps for you to help you come out of that place. So I'll say get a coach if you can. If you can't afford a paid coach and you don't find someone that can do it for you for free, talk to somebody that you think is excelling in some area that you admire, and the person might be able to help you unravel those knots. What makes a goal truly measurable is that you put scales to it, you measure it. That's if you look at the smart things, specific, measurable. How do we measure it? So, for instance, your goal is to lose 10 kg in 1 year. All right, that's a goal you set for yourself. How the That's the vision you have, right? To be 10 kg less. The goal now becomes, what do you do every day? What do you do every week? What do you do every month? What do you do every quarter? That leads into you having that vision of seeing yourself with less weight than you have currently. Now, that thing that you do every day is the thing, or every week is what you need to measure. So I take a walk for 30 minutes. 30 minutes becomes your measuring scale, isn't it? And then you then measure 30 minutes, right? You then time yourself and walk for 30 minutes. And you say, oh, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes 3 times every week or 5 times every week. And you say, okay, I'll do Monday, I'll do Wednesday, I'll do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you set a time to it. So that makes it measurable. I hope that makes sense, right? Measurable means I can tell when I have achieved the goal. Okay. So I'm going to move on to the next section because of our time. Thank you so much for those questions. We have other questions, but we'll definitely take them next. All right. So are we good? Is everybody feeling okay? I know YouTube is not a lot of people's default area. Right, to join webinars and things. I know a lot of people are waiting for the replay, but please let's not get distracted. Just let's have a good time by ourselves here. Okay. All right. Thank you. Somebody says good man. Thank you so much for that response. So I'm going to quickly go into section 2, which is clear. Okay, so we've talked about align. Now we're talking about clarity, vision. Vision talks about sight, talks about insight, talks about foresight, talks about farsight. Sight, what do you see? Then goals, what do you set so that you can achieve what you see? What are the things that you must do to get you to where you need to see? The strategic focus. What are the things you must have in place to get to where you are going? What is your focus right now? Right? Because some people say, oh, I need to get healthier. But then they are reading books about maybe starting a business or getting married or something. You need to be clear what your focus is so that you can know that within this period of time, this is what I want to achieve. And so I'm working towards achieving those things, right? So what we want to do here, what we want to achieve here right now is to convert emotional clarity into structured direction and own goals. I like the word own goals because it means that you take responsibility for your future, for where you want to go. You are emotionally clear about these things, about how they make you feel. Somebody came to see me the other day, and we're having a conversation, and he was like, oh, he is a trained architect, but he has learned such skill in tailoring and has become a fashion designer. He's doing really well, but it doesn't make him happy. He always feels sad, he feels depressed, he never does anybody's work until his last minute, then he's rushing to get it done, and he doesn't know why he feels that way and all of that. And I simply told him, because that's not where your heart has aligned with. Sewing is not where you're aligned to. Sewing is not what is not your identity. That's why it's something you have learned to do and become good at, but it's not your identity. It's not who you are. Architecture is what you love and want to do. So go back there. Just go back there. And he has gone back there and he's thriving and he's doing very well. Why? Because he has become clear on identity so he can build a vision that aligns with where he's going. That's why some of us have lost businesses and programs and things because we just thought, no, let's just do it. It didn't align. Some people have stopped programs that they were doing because they were tired and now they realize that that is who they really are. This is what happened to me with Smash Your Goals, and that's why we're back here, right? So clarity is not control because you're just not clear. And then, no, clarity becomes stewardship. Clarity becomes what? Stewardship. It means that I now know what I'm meant to do and I'm going to do it very well. So I want to introduce a model to you, a model that you can use whenever you get ideas. I know most of us are here because we are ideas people. You have an idea, you want to do something, you want to be high achiever, you're multi-talented, and all of those kind of things. But I want to introduce this model to you. I call it the vision vehicle framework. Like I told you, we're going to be doing a lot of frameworks. We did the start framework just now when we talked in the first section. This section now we're talking about the vision vehicle framework, right? Vision, simple destination is the future you are becoming. So it's destination. Vision, the future you are becoming, destination. The picture of the future that you see, hope, clarity. All right. The second thing is the goals. Goals is the vehicle that you ride on to get to the vision. Is the vehicle that you use, is the pathway that you use to get to the vision. And strategy just refers to the movement. So between strategy and the goals, vision and the goals, because this is a vision vehicle framework, there is strategy. Strategy asks the question, how, right? It becomes the route that vehicle or the reading that the vehicle follows. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not, let me say that again, just so that I believe that I'm clear. Vision is the future you are becoming, right? Which is the destination you're going to, right? Goals are the vehicles that move you towards that future. Little by little, goals get you to that future. But strategy is the route, is the road, is the rhythm, is the sound that we take, that the vehicle follows, is the lights on the street lights, the map, right? The GPS that the goals follow to get to the destination. So if you want to succeed in whatever it is you're doing, you need some kind of strategy, right? Many people confuse goals with vision. Oh, I just need to get it. These are my goals for the year. And sometimes they are not exactly wrong. They just are calling vision goals. Vision is the end picture, is the destination, is where you want to go to. Goals are just the moment, is the momentum, right? To get there. So sometimes when goals fail, they assume that the vision is wrong. No. The truth is that you may have chosen the wrong vehicle, or you may have poorly maintained the vehicle that's leading you to that destination. So you want to go to another state. Let's say you want to go to Abuja from Lagos, if you're in Nigeria, or if you're anywhere just in the world. Just imagine two states or two towns, cities that you want to go to. You haven't serviced the car, you haven't gotten the GPS because you've never been there before. You just hop into the car and know that, oh, that's the destination I want to go to, and then you start going to that. So vision may give you direction in the sense that, oh, that's where I'm going. But goals provide the movement. Goals provide the momentum for you to get there, while the strategy then sustains that progress. I hope that makes sense. So you have to have a strategy for the goals. You have to have a strategy. Let's go back to weight loss. I say weight loss a lot because it's just easier. When we are doing the accelerator, we'll break it down to your own idea, your business, your impact that you want to make, and handle it directly there. But this is a free webinar. So anyway, so strategy tells us how these goals will work. That's why we say it sustains the process, it sustains the goals. So you want to lose weight, you want to lose 10 kg, you want to be 10 kg less in 12 months, right? What are the goals? Walk 30 minutes 5 times a week, go to the gym 2 times a week, eat more vegetables and stew, blah, 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 blah. Set those goals, right? How do you sustain this process? Getting an accountability partner is one way. That's a strategy. Registering with a gym that comes and picks you up from home, probably, because some of you, they need to get you out of bed, dress you up, carry you there, put the machine in your hand before you actually do the work. So all those things in between are the strategy that you need to put in place. All right. I know somebody, a friend of mine told me that she gave somebody else in her house the power to lock the kitchen at a particular time so she doesn't go into it after that time because this was a serious health matter that she couldn't do by herself. That becomes accountability, right? So while vision answers why and who and becoming, where we are going, right? The goals answer the what must change for this to be built. What must I do for this to happen? And then the strategy now answers how will all this effort be applied consistently? Because again, without the consistency, we can go nowhere. You know, I was listening to someone in a podcast recently and he said, without consistency, no matter the beautiful pictures you have, no matter the great desires you have, you will go nowhere because there is no consistency, right? So vision, let's wrap this up quickly. Vision is directional, but it is not detailed. It's not detailed. It's just directional. That's where we're going. That's what I want to have. Those big buildings, that factory, that this and that. Beautiful. That's why it's sight. You see it, but it's not detailed. So vision is directional, not detailed. Goals are specific, not emotional. They are specific, not emotional. So even though they make you emotional, they make you happy, we have to be very specific on what we will do over how long we will do them. Okay? Strategy then is practical, not inspirational. Your inspiration comes from the vision, not from the strategy. The strategy is not supposed to make you happy. The strategy is just supposed to give you, help you assist the momentum of the goals. All right, so I'll say that quickly and you can write it down. Vision is not directional, vision is directional, not detailed. Goals are specific, not emotional, and strategy is practical, not inspirational. And I know that I'm about to bust your bubble, but that's the truth. Inspiration is good, but it's just the beginning. After you get inspired, then you get the structure and systems in place. Because without those things, no staying power, no pressure, no drive. Okay? So many people abandon their vision when the goals fail. I'm summarizing now. But failed goals are not failed future. It's a failed vehicle. So do not abandon the vision because the goals failed. Hello? You know, I was doing a project and I had set my mind on these specific sponsors, right? And this they are the partners and sponsors I wanted. And at the end of the day, they pulled out. They said they couldn't do it. And I actually abandoned the project for a while. Why? Because I just felt that that vision failed. If these people, this amazing idea, this amazing impact we're about to make couldn't work, these people couldn't see it, then there's something wrong with it. And I started poking holes in the vision and all of that. But that was a lie. It was just the vehicle. It's the goal that failed. It's my strategy that wasn't working. The vision itself did not fail. So you might just have a failed goal, but see, it's a failed vehicle. All right. So vision must remain stable. You must keep the pictures alive. You must keep them alive, and then you can be playing around with the goals. Goals serve the vision, not the other way around. Goals serve vision, not the other way around. Okay. So don't sabotage your goals because it looks like the vision is not um coming to pass. So let me give you an example. Vision: become a financially stable and generous person. Because again, if you are financially stable, generosity should be something that you should do. Now, why am I saying it this way? Because as human beings, the emotional part is important. That is where generous person comes in, the emotion. Financially stable is where the work comes in, is where the future, the destiny comes in, so that you can then become generous. All right. So always think about it as, oh, I need to have some impact with my vision. What is that side of it that helps? Right? So the goal might now to be eliminate personal debts. Question is how much debt do you have? So you put it there. Over how long, based on your income, can you have? Can you execute, eliminate that debt? Right? That's one goal. Number two goal might be to build a savings buffer. But that is the idea. So now to make it measurable and specific is how much can you save every month based on your income. If what you can save every month still cannot help you eliminate the debts and become financially stable, remember we're working backwards, then the next goal is to increase income. All these goals will work, right? Increase your income. Question becomes, how do I increase my income? But the goal and that strategy. But the goal here is how much more income do I need to make? We're having some transition in our family. And I told myself, okay, if we're going to have this going on for the next 6 months, how much more do I need to earn to make sure that this is a smooth transition for the next 6 months? And I began to work towards that. That was a clear goal. I got the money, right? So the strategy for me now became monthly budgeting. Budget monthly. What can we spend each month will determine how much I must make, right? Weekly expense review. Every week you sit down with your expenses. If I keep going like this, will I meet the budget for the month? Daily spending awareness. I hope this makes sense, right? So it takes some good work for us to do it. Okay. So question quickly, write it down. Where have you treated a goal like a vision? Where have you treated the goal like a vision? Because remember again, visions don't really fail. They don't fail. It's the goals, what we are doing towards the vision that fails. Okay. What vision do your current goals actually point toward? What visions your current goals actually point towards? So what that means is that I need you to review your goals. These are the goals I have. How do they point me to the vision? So if you are not clear on the vision you have, you're not clear on the goals you are, you're just living your life, I want you to take a pause and create a vision, right? So that you can set the right goals. And so I'm going to help you do that right now. Is that a good thing to do? Can I help you um, create your vision? Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I can see Harris here. Steve Harris, thank you so much for being here. It means a lot to me. Says, how do I become intentional with changing your habits and behaviors? Very important as well. Be clear on your focus. Thank you all for that. That's please you have to check the chat. Something amazing is happening in there as well. All right. So your personal vision statement, simple. By the end of 12 months or in 12 months or in 1 year, I am becoming a person who dash and lives with dash impact. That is how I want you to write your personal statement. Again, I want you to have who you are becoming, become aware of who you are, but add some impact to it. That's where the emotion comes in. Because the emotion, again, remember, is your driver, is the passion, is the sustaining power you have, the emotion you attach to who you are, right? So your vision should not just be about what you have. No, it must be about who you become. That's why it's vision. That's why it's sight, it's foresight, it's fast sight. Who you become. Vision is only something that is ahead of you. If you have already done it, it's no more a vision, right? Because what you can have because what you have can motivate you temporarily. It's just a temporal thing what you have, but what you become sustains you. What you're intentional about, like Harris has said, the behaviors, the patterns, all those things, they sustain you. The change that you see in the future that is coming. All right, so again, vision should be directional. So you focus on the identity, focus on the contribution, focus on everything that helps clarify that vision, right? Because without the clarity, execution only will create frustration. What are you even executing when you are not clear? And this is where the goals framework comes in. So, I mentioned that we're going to do the start framework, which I've done, and then we're going to do the goal framework, and that'll be all for this webinar. Then sign up for the next webinar where you have the smash framework, and we'll talk about some other things, right? But I want us to achieve in this section to create a personal statement. I know some of you have, but just indulge me. Let's work on this together. I know that you will gain something from doing this. So before we work on your personal statement, I want to take you through the goal framework, right? That you can again apply to what you are currently doing, right? To what you have identified that you want to do, which came out in the start framework, and see how you can then apply the goal framework here. All right. I hope I'm not loading you too much information on this webinar. I hope not. But again, that's why the accelerator is there for us to take our time and break things down. All right. So goal, GOAL. GOAL. You can write that down. Number one is G, get clear. Woo, I can't emphasize this more than this. Clarity is critical, is important, so get clear. That's it. Clarity on what matters the most. When you're able to show what matters the most in achieving the vision, then you can then that becomes a correct goal. You can then set the right goal. What matters the most? Ask yourself. So if again we're using weight loss, what matters the most? Is it your health? That's why if you fill all those weight loss forms and things, they always start by asking what you want to achieve. Is it better health? Is it stronger bones? Is it this? They're trying to figure out for you what matters the most that you can align with. Because you don't need more goals, you just need clearer ones. You don't need more goals, you need clearer ones. So clarity is not knowing everything. Clarity is knowing what matters the most. Go, get clear. Clarity on what matters the most. You don't need more goals, you need clearer ones. Because clarity is not knowing everything, clarity is knowing what matters the most. Oh, own it. Own it. Emotional and personal ownership. See, when you look at the wellness, there are 8 dimensions of wellness in life, and you should please go and study that. I'm going to attach the wellness wheel to your emails after this section, so look out for it. But do more research on it. You need to know it. All of it matters. But when it comes to owning goals, you have to look at it personally and emotionally. It becomes a personal and emotional ownership. It has to mean something to you, right? A goal is only powerful when it is owned, when it becomes mine. This is what I am doing, no matter who else shows up or not shows up. I've had issues with this. I have a platform for women where we come together and have meetings and all of that. And there were times before where I will show up at the platform and nobody else comes. And it used to worry me. But I had to sit down and tell myself, this is your platform, this is your goal, this is your ambition, this is your desire. You have to keep pushing it. You have to keep showing up for yourself, not for them. Because this has to be emotional and personal to you, right? The question is, why does it matter? You have to ask yourself that question. Why does it matter? Number one. Number two, what will change if I do it or if I don't do it? What will change? What will cause? What will happen? And the last question, which is so important, is what will it cost me? What does it cost you to own it? What does it cost you? It might cost you a lot. Because if it costs you nothing, it means nothing. So it should cost you something. Doing this webinar right now costs me a lot of things. So many outcomes for me that I can't share with you because they're personal and they're emotional. But it's a moving vehicle. We are starting to push this vehicle that has been stagnant for a while. So you can imagine all the things that we are going through to make it happen. You can imagine how many hundreds of people have registered for this webinar, how many emails I'm getting, how many is it's just I have to own it, all right? Because if it costs nothing, it means nothing. It means something to me, right? Ownership is what sustains the effort, right? Ownership is what sustains the effort when all the inspiration and motivation and smiles and encouragement disappears. See, my WhatsApp is loaded with messages of people that are coming and all of that. That's inspiration, that's motivation. We don't focus on those things. Those things are good. But what you focus on is the ownership. How do I sustain the effort? How do I make this work? How do I make this happen? All right. Then A is acts. Act is execution. You set goals. Now begin the goals immediately, not later. See, the problem with execution, and our execution king is here, Steve Harris, he can tell you. The problem with execution is that once you become clear on what needs to happen and you do not take the steps to make it happen, procrastination sets in and you have delayed results. When you have delayed results, the outcome may not be the same, right? Or the outcome then happens, or even the result happens when it's no longer important or no longer relevant. And then you don't have the results that you desired. You don't have the vision. You don't have the future of the picture that you saw at the beginning. So execution becomes important. Immediate execution. After this webinar, take the workbook, work on it today, not tomorrow, right? Look at the planner, start the 90-day planner today, not tomorrow, because you might never get to it. The drive and the passion and the emotion you feel now, the euphoria, dopamine, everything happening to you right now is the vehicle, is the passion, is the drive you need to ride for execution. So do not delay. We're going to talk about execution more in webinar 2. So again, mark the date. I think it's May 11th or something, so that you're here for webinar 2. Okay. L, limits. Limit the goals to 3 or 5 goals maximum. Why? More goals equals more guilt. I know, you know as well. More goals equals more guilt. When you carry more load, you feel more weighed down, you feel more pressure. So choose 3 to 5 goals. In fact, left to me, choose 3 goals, but you can do 5 if what you're doing is really important or really big. Choose 5 goals, but don't exceed 5 goals. Okay? Do not exceed 5 goals. Make sure that you keep 5 goals, right? Why? Because for each goal, you have to answer very clearly. And these are the questions you need to answer. Number one, why does it matter? Why does this goal matter? What will change if I achieve it? What will it cost me? Okay, I know I'm moving very fast, so please write it down. Okay, so 3 to 5 goals, 5 goals maximum. That's the vehicle, the vision goal. The vision vehicle framework says 5 goals maximum. From me, quote me anywhere. And the questions you have to ask for each goals that you set is number one, why does it matter? Number two, what will change if I achieve it? Number three, what will it cost me? All right, what will it cost you? Okay. All right, I know I've said a lot and I've been fast, so okay, we're good, right? Everybody's good, right? We'll soon come to the end of the section, and then I'll take questions and we'll take a break, okay? And if we can't do the last section, we'll just do it in webinar 2, because we have the opportunity to have another webinar. All right, so let's go back to goal refinements, to your vision statement that we said by in 1 year, and I like to do 1 year, just gives you 12 months, enough time. Instead of saying December 2026, let's just say in 1 year, 12 months. I will dash so that that will happen, okay? Let's go back and write it now. Now that we understand the get clear, the own it, the act in it, and the limit it to 5 goals. Can you write 5? Can you write your vision statement now for 12 months? And can you set goals that will help you achieve that vision? Just 5 goals, 3 to 5 goals that you can set, right? Ask yourself this question as you're writing the goals. Is this goal borrowed? Is it rushed? Right? Is it disconnected? Remember the first things we said? Is it borrowed? Is it rushed? Is it disconnected? Right? Make sure that you are able to identify and make it your own goal. On it. Then the second question is, will you still pursue this if nobody saw it? So if nobody saw the goal, if nobody was there at the accountability, if it doesn't affect other people in any way, will you pursue the goal? Right? Because remember, the goals are important. What you're doing has to be significant. It has to make some impact. So you need to ask yourself what impact that goal is making on yourself, on the project, on the event, and all of that. Okay? All right, so let's wrap this up. Focus multiplies effort. Focus multiplies effort. Attention is your greatest resource. Attention is your greatest resource. Focus multiplies effort, because when you focus on 3 to 5 goals, you can put all your energy and time. You can know how to use your network. You can know how to use accountability. You can know how to use your results for the answer, right? And attention becomes your great resource, because when you're focused on something, you pay it attention, right? What am I looking at? What am I listening for? So this year I decided that I wanted to become significant in a specific sector. I mapped out the sector. I looked at who are the gatekeepers of this sector. Then I broke it down smaller to just the particular niche that I want to work in. Who are the gatekeepers of this niche? Who are the people that have a say here? So now I'm attending conferences, events where I can find them. I'm making my voice heard and my face seen where they exist. But I have set 3 major goals that will help me achieve what I want to achieve in that sector this year. That's just an example for you. All right. So let's transition to the last section, but I'll stop here and take questions. So you now have clarity, but clarity alone is not enough. Remember, we said clarity creates responsibility. So you now have to act, which is the next section we're going into. Remember, the first one was align. You aligned your identity. Amen. Right? I'm just kidding. Right? The first one is you were able to align your identity, know who you are, what you want, all that kind of thing. That's the first one. We talked about align. Then we went to clarity. They have become very clear about goals, about vision, about yourself, your patterns, your thinking processes, your behaviors, your routines, all the things that affect it. And now we want to go into act. How do we take action? This is just going to be a few minutes and then we'll be out and we'll be done with the webinar. Thank you for being here. We've been here for 1 hour, 24 minutes, and I've used every single minute of it to make it valuable for you. I hope you feel the same way. Tell me, please, in the chat how you feel. Have you learned something? Is it valuable? Are you sharing the link for this webinar to people so that they can join us? So again, Emanuela, share the link again in the chat, please, so that people can share it also to other people. And can I have any questions for this clear section? Any questions? Thank you so much. I see your hats and things there. And I see your message. Okay, let me check. I think I have messages on WhatsApp. Thank you, Itunu. Thank you for all you shared. Um, while I wait for the questions, please put the date for the link to the second webinar up so people can start registering for the webinar. And again, as is my custom, we have what we call the after party, where I spend some time praying with you and speaking to you personally about the things you desire and things that you've gotten out of this session. So today we'll be talking about impact, the impact you want to make. So a Zoom link will be shared for that. So are my ladies here? I'm looking for the questions. Sorry, I can't find the questions. Okay, let me see. Where have you sent them to? Let me see. How do I beat procrastination? What if my goals change? Okay, fantastic questions. I will take those two questions. Procrastination. Let me see. Yeah, okay, I take those two questions. Okay, thank you. Procrastination is an emotional thing, right? You don't need to do it. The only way to beat procrastination is to do it. To just do it. Nike, just do it. Procrastination becomes emotional for you. Like you're beginning to think, oh, um, I can do it tomorrow. No, it's a personal challenge that you have. You need to stop it. You need to put yourself in accountability circles where you are hindered from procrastinating. And when I do accountability circles for my people, especially the people that I like in my mentorship circles and coaching groups, what we do is we attach money to it so that if you fail in one way or the other, you pay money, right? You're able to give some cash because you failed. That will keep you from the procrastination. Because the question is, why are you procrastinating? Why? Why don't you just get it done? What is stopping you really from getting it done? That's the question that you can ask yourself. Okay. So procrastination is nothing. It's just laziness, just can be confusion, whatever it is. Don't send the links to me. Send it in the chat here. Please don't send it to me. Thank you. So what was the other question? What if the goals change? That's fine. Goals are meant to be malleable, right? Goals are meant to be changing. Why? Because the world is evolving. Because things happen, life happens, life is lifing, right? Adults is being an adult, we are adulting right now. So things happen. But that's why we teach strategy with goals, because you have to always find the strategy that you need to put in place that even when your goals seem to fail or they cannot come through, what strategy are you using to still achieve the vision? Remember, the goal is not the end in itself, the vision is. Okay? The vision is not the goal. The goal, again, is not the end in itself. The vision is. Okay? So when your goals change, the first question you have to ask yourself is, why are my goals changing? Right? Sorry, I knew this will happen. People asking me for the link here and there, not checking their emails. That's another that's another issue we have with people. Not checking their emails, okay, and doing all these kind of things. It is well, it is okay. So why ask yourself the question, why is my goal changing? Is the vision changing? Because the goal shouldn't change if the vision is not changing, right? Or is it a different situation? Have I found myself in a different environment? Am I cash strapped? Am I experiencing something that will affect that makes this goal obsolete? Has the goal become obsolete? But again, the vision is the end in itself, is the destination. So then what goal do I then put? What goal do I then work on right now? What do I change? What strategy do I deploy or do I employ now that can still help me to get to my vision? All right. All right, thank you so much. I can see a message saying I really learned something valuable. Hope to review and act on issues discussed. Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Okay, so let's wrap this up now. I hope we please, if you are here, I can see that there are a few people online right now with me. If you are here, can you please tell me um if you're okay, if we should end now or should we take the last section? I don't want to overwhelm you with information. Yes, I have the content for 3 webinars for 2 hours, but I feel that we've said a lot that you need to go and work on. All right, so let me know in the chat, and then please can I ask my ladies, Emanuela and Tunu, you have to put the links to join the second webinar right now. You have to be the link to the accelerator. So we're going to take on a 6 weeks accelerator after here that will just dive deeper into what we have talked about. We'll use the 90-day planner for it. We will have videos and text and things that will just help us really transform in this place that we're talking about. It's not a free accelerator, it's paid for, but trust me, you will get every single value of it. So can I have the link to the accelerator in the chat? I don't know if my chat is being delayed, but I can't see the link. Please share the link to the accelerator now, and also the link to the Zoom. But we're going to wrap this up and go in Zoom. So I can't see anyone saying that they are tired or they've had enough. So I'm going to move then to the next section since nobody is stopping me. All right. So let's do that. Can we go? All right. Let's do that very quickly. I just want to say something. If you want it bad enough, you will make changes. If you want it bad enough, sometimes we haven't gotten to the point where we want it bad enough, right? We don't want it bad enough yet. We haven't gotten there, right? That's what the problem is. If you want it bad enough, you will begin to change it. And the only way to sustain the changes that you see is to have accountability. Get accountability partners, get a coach, right, that can help you and work on these things with you. Okay, so let's quickly wrap this up. Let's wrap this up. Okay, and we are going to wrap it up with the act section. All right, the act section. So we talked about aligning, talked about clarity. Now we are saying act. Act is about personalizing execution, right? For systems. How do you put systems in place that helps you begin to execute? All right. We want to transform inspiration into repeatable execution. You know, I was telling my team when we do some outreach work, and I was saying we need to build programs that are replicable. Take down notes and things, build programs that are replicable so that it's not just done one time. We can just pick it up again and do it over and over again. That's what systems are. People do not fail because they lack that desire. Remember, they fail because they copy systems that do not fit them. So the question is, what system fits you? This is such a critical part of this webinar. I don't want you to miss. So if you're here, please do not go. If you're Itunu, share it. Share it on the YouTube group. You don't have to wait for Emanuela. Please go ahead and share it. Thank you. Okay. I want her to share the link so that none of you leave the webinar without the links. Okay. So the question here, the core model we're going to be talking about is effort versus outcome. Effort versus outcome. Outcome is not what is what happens when effort is played in. So you cannot have an outcome that you did not work for, right? Effort is what we practice daily when we go to sleep, when we wake up, when we do things, the kind of result we have. They are efforts that are practiced. but the outcomes is just what we prayed for. All right. So outcomes are what we see when the results happen. Okay. Oh, we worked, I achieved my goals. I this week, or let's say this month, I went to the gym 3 times every week. My results now is each day was that I went, I did what I was to do, and I came back. Great, you achieved it, got the results. At the end of that month, the outcome just is what we then have, the weight loss, isn't it? But the effort becomes the daily obedience, the monthly grind, the things we keep doing that helps us achieve the outcome. So effort is like the seed that you plant, time becomes the water, and then the harvest is now the result, the outcome. Let me say that again. Effort is now the seed that you plant, time becomes the water, and harvest becomes the result. Right? That's what it is. So effort is the seed, time is water, harvest is result or outcomes. That's how I need you to look at it. For you to have the harvest you want, the result you want, whatever you need, you have to remember that there's time where effort needs to be applied. Okay? So goal smashing styles is what I want to show you. I want to show you how you are wired that might be affecting the results that you are getting. And I'm not going to stay on this. In the second webinar too, we are going to take our time to work here, but I'm just going to touch on this very briefly, right? So goal smashing styles describes how different people execute best based on their wiring, their temperament, and their energy patterns. And that's something you need to go and study for yourself. What are your energy patterns? When do you have high energy to deliver to results, to be productive? All of us have times where our energy dips in the day, no matter who you are. So you need to understand those patterns, right? How it works for you. Those are called energy patterns. They are your wiring. Okay. So failure doesn't failure often occurs because not because of laziness, but because people force themselves into systems that contradict their design. What is your design? Right? Your discipline, your effort must match your design. I'll say that again. Your effort and discipline must match your design. Who you are, how you translate things, how you transform things, how you work, right? Remember identity? Go back and listen again if you like an hour and you get that, right? Why? God wired everybody differently. We are all wired differently. A system empowers one person, can exhaust another person. The way I work can overwhelm somebody else. The way you do things can annoy or irritate somebody else. You need to understand that, right? Just excuse me, let me take a sip of water. There is no best style, right? There are only right styles for everybody. But again, when I talk about these styles, you need to identify your style and also identify the styles that will help you achieve what you need to achieve, because your style might make you a little handicapped, right, in completely achieving what it is that you need to achieve. But have in mind that if you're able to identify the right style for you, that is the right one that produces consistent effort from you. I didn't say result now because you have to apply the work, right? But that will help you produce consistent effort. So five styles, five styles. Number one style, the planner. The planner thrives on structure, schedules, predictability. That's the planner. They feel safe when plans are written down, they are reviewed, they are very organized people, right? Now, the risk to the planner is that they can be rigid and they can have analysis paralysis. I got that word from Sivaris. By the way, Sivaris is my coach and my mentor. So, yeah, his name has shown up a few times. I know. Right? The risk there is rigidity and paralysis when plans change. Analysis paralysis, you can't move because it's not going according to plan. So that's the risk that you bear. So again, when we come to the person you need, you need somebody that's more risk averse. Okay. So the number one again, the planner thrives on structure and systems and schedules and predictability and has to be organized. That's only when they feel safe, when they're writing down and they're creating tables and structure using Excel, those kind of people. Number two is the sprinter. The sprinter works best in very short, focused bursts. They put all their energy into 3 hours, they get it done, they go and rest. They don't take their time. No. it never works. They get bored, they just lose momentum. But for them to gain momentum, they have to see the deadline. They have to burn the candles. They have to almost burn out, right? That's who they are. A lot of us are like that. I think a lot of people, especially in Nigeria or Africa, are trained, kind of to be sprinters. Okay. Then number three is the flow builder. The flow builder is somebody who gradually builds the habits, gradually builds the routine, right? They prefer consistency over pressure. So they cannot be sprinters. You cannot put them under pressure. They have to be slow to get productive. But the risk here is that they slow because of how slow they are. They themselves feel unproductive. They feel that they don't have results, and because they feel that way, other people also feel that way, right? Other people feel that way. So that's the risk there. Remember, they are almost like the opposite to the sprinters, because the risk of the sprinter is burnout because they have no rest, because they didn't take it easy. But the flow builder, their risk is that they are unproductive, or they feel unproductive, or they can't meet deadlines because they have to build the habit gradually. Number four is the accountability driven. Right now, this person likes to report to other people. They perform best when somebody is supervising them. They gain their energy from shared goals, shared outcomes, shared vision. They need to work with other people for them to be able to do what they need to get done. The risk here, though, is the external dependence without internal ownership. Do you understand that? So they are externally dependent on other people's energy, other people's drive, other people's shared goals, but they do not have their own ownership. They do not have their own energy to keep going. And then the last one, the fifth one, and we'll wrap it up here, is the vision led. The vision led person is motivated by meaning, right? It has to mean something to them. They have to be able to see the vision. There has to be pictures, right? You have to continually cast the vision for them to run with. It has to be imagery, right? They are emotional people. Vision led people are emotional people. They need to be connected to that emotion, connected to that thing emotionally. And a lot of volunteers are like that. They volunteer because they're connected emotionally. The risk here is that consistency, it's the risk with vision-led people is that they usually don't have structure. There's no structure. So they're inconsistent. They only work when they emotionally connect, when they're able to see something. So the question I have for you is, which circle are you? Which circle produces results for you, not admiration from others right now? I'm not talking about what people admire about you. What really produces results for you, right? And then the second question I want you to write down and answer is, what other circles have you forced yourself into? What other styles, rather, have you forced yourself into? The first question is, what style produces results for you? And the second question is, what style produces, have you forced yourself into? Because I want you to identify your style and be able to identify the styles that you need. So these people become your co-owners, your partners, your support system, because you know them. So because I want to end here, I will just go through these five styles again. Trust me, we will take it better in webinar 2. First one is the planner. Thrives on structure, on schedules, on predictability, writes everything down. The risk is rigidity, paralysis, analysis paralysis. Number 2 is the sprinter, works best in short bursts, focused energy bursts. The risk here is burnout. Third one is the flow builder, builds gradually, has to take everything slowly. The risk here is not being productive, not meeting deadlines. The fourth one is the accountability driven. The performs when other people are involved, when they report to other people, they gain their energy from other people. On their own, they are not productive. They have to have shared goals. So the risk there is external dependence. You don't have your own energy, you don't have your own passion, you don't have your own ownership. You need other people. And the fifth one is the vision-led, emotional people. They need meaning. They have to have impact. They have to see the future. Problem with these people is they have no structure. They rely on the imagery. They rely on the connections, the goals. So when they don't feel connected, they don't do anything until they feel connected. So question I have for you again is, which one are you and which one have you tried to be? Know your own limits. In fact, some of us, very few people might be more than one. You might be two of it. But which one are you? It's good for you to have clarity on who you are so that you can become better. So as we end the webinar, I want to encourage you to choose make 3 to 5 major goals. Think about something you want to focus on over the next 12 months. Make sure you go on the replay and watch it, because what I want you to do is define the monthly focus for it, for that goal, right? Work on the weekly action. So you have a monthly focus. This is my focus this month. Write it down. Then you have weekly action. So because of this month's focus, every week I will be doing this weekly focus or weekly action. And then your daily non-negotiables. You need to have things that you do daily. They are non-negotiables. I recently found out, well, not recently, last year, I found out that daily rest times have become my non-negotiables. I know that may sound funny to you, but because of some of the intense work I have to do and some of the ways I create and build, I need bursts of rest where I have to take maybe a power nap or watch something that's calming or something. It has become a non-negotiable. So I don't end the day with headaches and with weariness and with exhaustion, right? So what are your non-negotiables? Do you read particular hours a day? Do you research particular hours a day? What do you have to do every day? And what are the weekly actions you must take? And then what are the monthly focuses you must have? So I beg you to please do that on your own, okay? So for instance, if your outcome is to start a business, right? And you are giving yourself a year or 2 years or whatever to start the business. What is the effort you're going to put there? What is your daily non-negotiable about that? What is your weekly action about that? What is your monthly focus, right? Daily negotiable, daily non-negotiable can be 45 minutes of daily validity work in that matter. Daily 45 minutes, I focus and I focus on this business for 45 minutes, right? What's your weekly action? I go for a conference, I go for a webinar, I take a course or something, this is the action I take weekly towards business. Then what's the monthly focus? Okay, for this month I'm going to learn about financials for this business. For this month I'm going to learn about product design. For this month I'm going to learn about customer engagement, stakeholder management, things like that. Okay. Why? Why are we ending here? Why are we at this point? Because consistency beats intensity. Because consistency respects the human wiring, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we are handicapped by ourselves, by what our bodies can do, by what they recognize, by the familiar. We become handicapped by those things. That is why we have to keep doing it, whether we feel like it or we don't feel like it. Consistency beats intensity. I've heard somebody say that it's better to pray every day for 10 minutes or 15 minutes than to pray once a week for 3 hours, because that is just still once a week, one day a week. But if you consistently do that thing every day, it builds momentum that results in great outcomes instead of just doing it once and going to sleep. So consistency beats intensity because consistency respects human wiring. How are you wired? Are you retraining yourself to be wired, right? Are you making progress? You can only make progress when you face your patterns, when you define your vision, when you set goals. This is more than a lot of people do in a year. What I've taught you right now, I'm telling you, it's trusted content, right? But again, this is where exactly where people stop at vision level. Oh, they get excited about something and that's all. No, you have to begin to face your patterns. You have to define clearly that vision, and you need to set goals. Get to work. Clarity feels like progress. That's what it should feel, not results. Oh, I know now and then go to sleep. No, it should feel like progress. Understanding does not equal execution. Because you know it now, it doesn't mean that you are equal. No, it doesn't mean that you're executing. No, action means execution, taking a few steps, right? This thing forces clarity into intention and direction. What is your intention from even attending this webinar? Right? As you know, remember, and I'm trying to round up here. Remember, your brain is not designed to focus on everything at once. You are not designed to multitask. Trust me. That just wastes your time. And that's a whole other webinar, right? Attention is your most valuable resource. How much attention can I focus on something? How much attention can I give to something? It's your most valuable resource, because where your focus goes, your energy flows. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Please remember that. Okay? So, limiting your goals to 3 to 5, like I said, is not restriction, it is protection, right? It is not restriction, it is protection, so that you can achieve them and not feel like a failure when you don't, right? Don't fail because you don't have the structure or you didn't put the system in place. Rather, let the goals fail because things evolved or things shifted or things changed, not you, not that you did not put the effort into it or you lost momentum. All right. So the real question is, do I have goals? Do I have the right vehicle to get me to the destination that I want to go? Have I put in the systems? Have I attacked my heritage? Have I looked at it? Right? Without system, you cannot start strong. You only have to stop. All right. Thank you. That is it. That is the webinar for today. Thank you all for being here. Before you go, though, I don't know if the link I have been asking for has been put in here, the Zoom link, because I'm going to go to the Zoom link form here. Like I said, um, oh, okay. I'm hearing that they cannot see the Zoom link. Please let me know if you can see the Zoom link. Oh, some people are saying they can't see the Zoom link. Can you see, if you're here right now, can you see the Zoom link? Right? I can't see the links. But if you are, please let me know if you can. If not, we might need to do without the Zoom links. We might need to do without that. I'm sorry. I apologize. But please, I just want to say a few things again. The webinar, I think, was amazing. I hope you think so. Please let me know what you think in the chat. Let me know as you reply the email. Let me know um, everywhere. I really love this Arike person. You're amazing. You are amazing. Um, um, I want you to know that the accelerator is built for you. It's built to dive deeper. It's 6 weeks. It's built to dive deeper into each of these things that we have taught.